Hey guys, my name's Xenvex, and well, today I'm doing a little something different. So today I'm gonna play Alongside the King, which is a game I actually made, with the help of some people. You'll see in the credits. But I worked like for a couple months on this game, and I put a lot of effort into it. I made like a lot of copies, a lot of fixing and tunes up, and it ended up being the game that we're playing today. I'm only gonna do. There's 3 endings for this game, and I'm only gonna do 1 ending. And I hope it encourages you guys to play through the game yourself, and try it out. So let's begin. In the end, I could never understand what he was thinking. I was born an orphan, abandoned on the street until the local church found me and raised me. When I was 5 years old, the village I lived in was attacked by monsters and was razed to the ground. Everything in the village was destroyed, the church included. If there were any other survivors that day, they didn't bother looking for me. I can't remember what I thought or felt at the time, but one thing led to another, and I ended up becoming a bandit. Those were my darkest years. At first, I only stole from people camping out in the woods, or drunkards that passed out in the streets. Eventually, I started working with people of similar interests. I didn't like any of them, and the feeling was mutual, but even I have to admit there's strength in numbers. I made a rule for myself to never take a job that would potentially attract attention, but I made an exception when I heard about this ambush job. The intel was good and the payout was even better. However, we got completely wiped out. That was when I met him. I gotta admit, you guys sure gave me a pretty good scare. Fuck you. That's not very nice, but I guess it's pretty understandable considering how bad I whooped you guys. No comeback for that one? Guess he must have passed out. Alrighty then, time to go and report these to the... Well, shit. Looks like my driver ran away. Hey, are one of you guys still conscious? Shit! You know you said that out loud, right? Cat's out of the bag, I guess. Oh shit, I can't believe you fell for that. Fuck this guy. Anyway, want to make a deal with me? I was gonna leave you and your friends to the... They're not my friends. Whoa, I get it. These guys aren't your friends. I'm surprised you can still stand. Were you even fighting seriously earlier? Contrary to what you look like, you must actually be a pretty nice guy. I really want to kill this guy. You should totally be one of my knights. Join you... Wait, what? Was this guy actually someone really important? Well, I'll pay you, of course, to have what you're concerned about. It'll be a ton of fun. Also, it's better than attacking random people, right? Sounds pretty good. Whoa, was that a smile I just saw? I have no idea what you're talking about. Are you one of those tsunderes? Anyway, I forgot to introduce myself. You can call me Fred. I'm Bandit. If it wasn't for that dead serious look, I think you're lying. I don't know what you want me to say. How about we change it to something a little less, bandity? I hope it's not something stupid. I got it! How about... Knight! Since you're gonna be my knight. I guess it could have been worse. Now that we have introduction settled, let's get a move on before people realize I haven't been doing my job again. Also, you wouldn't happen to know how to drive a carriage, would you? What did I just get myself into? I soon found out that Fred was actually King Winifred, and I just became one of his Silver Knights. Of course, it wasn't easy dropping some of my unappealing habits that I developed as a bandit, but it turns out I had to keep more than I thought. Mostly because the king had some pretty bad habits of his own. I gotta say, Knight, this distortion ability you got is pretty awesome. Now I can survey the kingdom without anyone recognizing me. You were about to say ditch the castle, weren't you? Anyway, I'm gonna check out the residential district, so... Fred. Come on, Knight, don't be such a spoil sport. I'm only gonna be an hour this time, I swear. Listen, I know you like to have fun and everything, but every time you disappear like this, everyone always blames me. Just promise me that you'll be seriously only 1 hour. I promise. Thanks for always helping me out. Oh god. It's okay, Knight, you don't have to force yourself to smile. Does it really look that unnatural? Personally, I like it better when your smile is real. Knight? Just get going already. You only have 58 minutes left. Not cool! That's weird. I swear I just heard the king shouting something. Yeah, I heard it too, but where did it come from? Am I hearing the king's voice inside my head again? That's the 5th time this week. Does he not remember that distortion doesn't work on his voice? At first I thought he was just some idiot who was running away from his duties, but despite his carefree attitude and eccentric tendencies, he actually took his job quite seriously. I thought I heard something coming from the throne room. Who could still be here at this hour? All the reports are finished. Is that... working late? Oh shit, Knight, when did you get here? I'm gonna be honest, you didn't strike me as the works late hours kind of guy. Should I take that as a compliment? It's not an insult. So you do this every night? Only when the work happens to build up like this. This might sound rude, but why do you pretend you're an idiot when you're actually not? What are you talking about? These documents are pretty complex. Even some of the secretarial knights have a lot of trouble doing these. Let me ask you something. Do you think people would feel more comfortable around the me I am now? Or the one that's always smiling? You might think it seems insincere, but I feel like this is the best course of action. My father was a pretty serious guy. On the outside he was cold and seemingly indifferent. It wasn't common for someone to have doubts or feel nervous around him. Eventually it led to nasty rumors and people lost trust in him. But despite that, I knew that he truly cared for the kingdom and all of its people. That's when I learned that even though you may have someone's best interests at heart, if it's executed poorly, some people won't be able to accept it. That's why even if I have to smile like this every second for the rest of my life, as long as it helps this kingdom, I'll do it gladly. You're right. I feel it better. I like it better when you act like an idiot. Hearing you say all this really deep stuff makes my head hurt. Fred. Although my past is covered in blood and dirt, and I'm only a knight in appearance and name, from this moment forward I swear to give everything that I am, was, and will be to you. Thank you, Knight. Those words mean the world to me. For the first time in my entire life, I felt at home. I could close my eyes and not worry about the person next to me stabbing me in the back. Although he wasn't perfect, he was the king. He was my king. I don't regret the decisions I made or the feelings that came with it. But perhaps if I wasn't so enamored by him, I might have been able to prevent what came next. So, Captain, what did you want to talk about? Did you know? Before I met the king, I was a simple farmer. I had a beautiful wife, a strong son, and a cute little daughter. Life was tough, but seeing their smiling faces every day made it all worth it. One day, while I was out in the fields, I heard screams coming from my village. I immediately rushed back and came home to something that I could never forget. The entire village was razed to the ground. My family and friends had become faceless bodies strewn across the broken buildings and bloodied earth. Standing over the bodies of my family was none other than the previous king himself, King Eriksen, the father of the current King Winifred. Eriksen was cruel, impulsive, and cold, a stark contrast from his son. Once a year, he would personally annihilate the village that paid the least amount of taxes. Then he would blame it on the bandits and spread the news as a warning to the other villages. I suppose that year it was my village. I always thought it was a simple rumor to encourage us to work harder, but that day I realized it was true. As I saw Eriksen pull his sword from my daughter's chest, he turned towards me. I quickly hid, but in that brief moment, I saw the face that would haunt my dreams. His vacant eyes showed no remorse. I felt I had died on the spot, but I could still hear my heart beating out of my chest. It's something I can never forget. Years later, after Eriksen had long been dead, I was a wandering man looking for a place to die. That's when I met Winifred. With a bright smile on his face, he asked me to become one of his knights, and although I was hesitant, I joined. Even though Eriksen's blood runs through his veins, I truly believed that Winifred was willing to do anything for his people. I was even certain that Winifred knew nothing about his father, or how he truly ruled the kingdom. But lately, I've grown rather uneasy. I thought maybe it was just me, but the other knights have shared their concerns with me as well. Then one day, during a conference with the village leaders, I looked at the king's bright face and my blood ran cold. Although it was for a split second, those bright eyes turned cold. For that split second, I saw the eyes of the man that killed my friends and family. For the split second, I was looking at the face of the ruthless King Eriksen. Tell me, Knight, what do you think about King Winifred? To be honest, my first impression of him was pretty bad. He was a wild kid that did whatever he wanted and didn't really take his job seriously. And the worst part was that he constantly dragged me into his ridiculous schemes and made me do more work than I could even imagine. But as time started to pass, I began to realize that I was wrong. I realized that the reason he snuck off in the town was to gather information and take the people's opinion into account. He would tell everyone to take it easy, and although we complained, he would spend late nights to pick up the slack and cover the heavy workloads. And even though he isn't perfect, or even close to it, I began to realize that I wouldn't want to live anywhere else than right beside him. No matter what path lies down before him, I'm willing to lay down my life for him. I guess I was wrong about you. You're more of a fool than I thought. What is this? It's exactly what it looks like. A rebellion. But why? Even though he's not the same king his father was, I refuse to take the chance that he could become even close to him. You willing to go against the man that has done everything for us, all because of a single moment? You weren't there! You don't understand anything! How could you when Winifred has you wrapped around his finger? How can you possibly trust a man that only sees us as his people instead of people? If you remotely understood the king, you would know that every word you just said is completely false. It seems like there's no getting through to you. I can't have you in the way for what's to come next. Talk is cheap. Let's settle this right now. It's not too late, Captain. It doesn't have to be like this. I've made up my mind a long time ago, and it seems like you have as well. What was your plan? Kill me if I didn't join you? Then what? My plan began the second we started talking. What do you... Fred! I was sincerely shocked by the captain's betrayal, but even more so by the truth about King Erickson. In my heart, there was not a shred of doubt that... Okay, I messed up here. Even though he had his faults, I knew he would rather die than do anything to harm one of his people. If only everyone truly believed that. If only I had been faster. He won't make it. I already know I won't make it, Knight. How can you still be smiling at a time like this? You're going to... Knight, I don't have much time. Please, I need your help. One last time. What do you need me to do? Help me up. There's somewhere I need to go. I scouted the area, and looks like no one followed us. It's alright, I'm still here, I just nodded off for a bit. Fred, what are we doing here? Please, take my hand. What did you do? He looks even paler than before. My power is called Legacy. It gives the user to perform any action perfectly, as long as they're 100% certain. When you took my hand, I passed it on to you, just as my father did to me and his father to him. We came here because it's a family tradition to pass down Legacy where the original founder became king. Why would you... It's pretty obvious, isn't it? Even though I had thousands of people following behind me. You were the only one walking beside me. Fred, Please, don't go. Thank you, Knight. You made me glad that I became king. If it wasn't for you, it would have been such a lonely journey. As the king faded in the light, I was left with an empty feeling that would never go away. He left me with so many questions, and the only answer I had was the power that he passed down to me. In the end, I could never understand what he was thinking. Was he happy? Relieved? Sad? Terrified? Behind that smile was a myriad of emotions that I would never understand. Even though I questioned the decisions I made, I never regretted taking his hand and walking alongside him. The true ending. Yeah. So this is the end of the game. I'm glad you stuck around this far if you have. Again, this game's, well, I made it pretty much by myself, and, well, you know, you can see the testers. NFT Studios is just the studio name I go by. But yeah, if you made it this far, thanks for watching. And if you want to play the game, please play the game. I really encourage you to give it a try. I'll leave the link down below. And if you guys have any suggestions for the game itself or what I should play next, then say that too. This means a lot to me, knowing that you guys know this. Yeah. So, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you later. Have a good day.